students, if you haven't already, go ahead and open up the present on your at your table, and you can check out the first couple pages of that. That gives a little bit of my backstory and the purpose and passion I have for this work. It's called The Inspired Teacher, 5 Actions That Healed Me. My name is Dr. Heather Michelle. I want to share a little bit more about my experience and how things that characterized kind of my childhood and had a direct impact in the way that I served my students and showed up for my first and second graders as a reading teacher, right? And so I share that story as a way to kind of help you jog your own memory and think about your own experiences. And I want to give you some time to turn and talk to your elbow partner. And perhaps just share some of the thoughts that you had as I was unpacking my story. Perhaps it triggered something in you to think about your own story as well. And if you feel moved, you can share that with your table partner. But I want to give you a couple minutes to process that. The thing I want to talk to you about is the stress response. Okay? The stress response is how your body responds to stress or stressful situations. This can be fight, flight, or freeze. Okay, I'm going to pull you back. So kind of what I've unpacked for you so far in talking about the language to describe our experiences and just talking about our experiences general. Teaching is emotional work, right? It's emotional not just for teachers of color, but it's emotional for everybody. But what does this mean for you as dual immersion teachers? And what does this mean for you as two-way teachers and just teachers identify as teachers of color? And so I'm going to start kind of like big picture, and then I'm going to lead you through an experience that's going to focus on more personally, what it means for you personally. I love all the great conversation that's happening. I'm walking around the room and just really enjoying the conversations that are happening. So one way to think about this, when you're thinking about how your own experiences overlap with your students, one way to think about it is that your childhood and past lived experiences often become your triggers in the classroom, and they are directly related to how you process the emotional and academic needs of your students. So here I'm going to unpack some actions that you can take, the 5 strategies that I've used in my own personal life and that I use as I coach my mentees and my clients. Before we do that, I do want to revisit the stress response, right? So it's important to remember that the stress response that is triggered in your body when you perceive stress is also a cycle. So the problem with today's society is we never close the cycle. We're stressed out at school, and then we go home and we're stressed out at home because our kids don't listen to us, and we're trying to make dinner, and we got to get homework and all the stuff that happens at home, right? So we never close the cycle. So we're in a chronic cycle of stress. So if we don't intentionally put moments of peace into our day, we're just constantly little hamsters going. So the things that we can do to heal ourselves and to move into more moments of peace throughout our day to address those issues, I'm going to talk about 5 of them. The first is movement. The second is reflection. Third is deep breathing or breath work. 4th is affirmations. And 5th is think big, start small. So I'm going to unpack each one of these strategies. Again, these are strategies I like to call low impact on lifestyle, high impact on mental health. I know teachers don't have a lot of time. What I'm proposing to you today are 5-minute increments. I'm talking about a 5-minute commitment. And I'm asking you to be intentional about where you think you can put those 5 minutes. Oftentimes it's in the transitions, right? As we leave work and as we're going home, during recess, lunch, in the beginning of the day when we first wake up. So thinking about when you might be able to add those 5 minutes in several moments throughout the day, right? So the first one is movement. And notice I don't have exercise up there, because if I put exercise up there, everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're going to talk about exercise. It's not exercise, it's a movement, okay? I'm talking about moving your body. The second one is reflection. So reflection allows you to be vulnerable with yourself. It's not healthy to suppress our feelings. The most important relationship you have in your life, everyone, is the relationship you have with yourself, okay? If you are not taking time to develop that relationship with yourself because you're focusing on your students and the needs that they have, because you're focusing on your family, I'm here to tell you today that you need to prioritize yourself. And one way to do that is through journal writing and just that intentional reflection, right?